Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to episode 47 of Magnificent Mondays. This week we're doing Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger from 1977. I think this was the first Ray Harryhausen film I saw at the cinema, at the pictures. But I could be wrong, but I think it was. Back in 1977. Came out the same year as Star Wars, which kind of overshadowed it a little bit. I don't know why, but it did. Anyway, so some information about the film before we get into it. As I said, a Ray Harryhausen film, although he didn't write it. Beverly Cross wrote the film. It was directed by Sam Wanamaker, who's done things like The Executioner. They wanted to go kind of in a grittier way, I think, and slightly more adult. Why do I say it like that? Adult. Fashion, I suspect. Although the script itself is pretty diabolical, and some of the dialogue is bloody awful. It's like a kid's written it, but it's still a great film, and I still love it. Produced obviously by Charles H. Schneer, as usual, with Ray Harryhausen films, and Ray Harryhausen stars Patrick Wayne, son of John Wayne, Taryn Power, daughter of Tyrone Power, and they just wanted those two in the film. Even before, I think, they had the script or whatever. They just wanted John Wayne's son and Tyrone Power's daughter to star in a film together. But anyway, also starring Jane Seymour, Patrick Troughton, Margaret Whiting, and others. But they're the main ones. And Peter Mayhew in a brief role in the distance. With music by Roy Budd, and that name rings a bell, and I can't think where I've heard it before. I should have looked it up, shouldn't I? Oh, I did Get Carter. Oh, and The Wild Geese. That's probably where I've heard it before. I love that film, The Wild Geese. So there we go. Had a budget of about $3 million, and it grossed $20 million at the box office. So it did okay, but I think it didn't do as okay as they wanted it to. As I said, it was kind of overshadowed by Star Wars that year. Oddly enough, speaking of Star Wars, the production company behind it was distributed by Columbia. The production company, according to Wikipedia anyway, is Andor Films, which is a Star Wars reference, but not in 1977. Anywho, so let's get on with it, shall we? As usual, just give me a second to get sorted. As usual, we'll not be watching it, just watching the film, because YouTube will go mental. They'll probably go mental anyway at some point, or the copyright owners, or whatever, or the algorithm, whatever, the automated copyright thing. I'll probably throw a Benny at some point, and there'll be a claim, and I'll have to dispute it, and it'll either get, rejected or, upheld. But that's why we're going to watch it in a series of stills. I may play the odd snippet, but it's got to be a really short snippet, or that, the copyright algorithm will catch it. This will also be going on to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Rumble. It won't be going on Twitch because we're not live. You may have noticed, because I'm not doing live streams for the time being, so this is pre-recorded. So there we go. I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Links in the description, as are links to my two books, Mercury Rapids, Silent Predator. They're in there. Give them a whirl. They're on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. I've also got a Patreon page, so go check that out for some exclusive stuff on there, not early access things. Considering opening up the memberships on YouTube, but I'm not entirely sure how to go about that. So, but anyway, we will see. And what else? There's a merch shop. If you go check in the store, there's merch, which I'm not wearing as usual, apart from my cap. But you can't get this because this is a one-off that I made myself. I bought a patch, some patches. There we go. I bought some patches and just sewed it onto a black cap. But there are caps like this, except they've not got a sewn-on patch, I don't think. We can get T-shirts and caps and mugs and stuff like that. Give that a check. Right, shall we get on with the film after all that malarkey? Right, so here we go. Let me go full screen, and then we will begin. We will begin. Right, here we go. There it is. Hang on, I've gone wrong here, haven't I? Don't do it like that. I've got to do this first, haven't I? Where am I? I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. And then I need to go down there. Right, that's it. I've got sorted finally. Pre-recorded, but I'm recording it as live. So, bells and whistles. Here we go. Right, off we go. The good old Columbia lady. She's a different colour every time I see her in all the different films. But anyway, off we go. The 70s Columbia logo reminds me of Close Encounters and stuff like that. And we begin with fireworks going off because there's a coronation in effect. We're in the city of... I've forgotten already. I've looked it up as well earlier on and I forgot. Charac. We're in the city of Charac, which I don't know if it really existed. I tried looking it up, but I couldn't find it. So maybe it's just made up for this film. Because sometimes they use real places, like Baghdad and all that. But I don't know if Charac really existed. If it did, let me know in the comments. And there we go. Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. And for some reason, these titles that we're seeing change colour. And I don't know why they've decided to do that. Are you ready? It's not going to do it now, is it? I've said that. There you go. Don't know why. They just do. So we're in a palace. By the way, this was filmed in a palace in Spain. I've got to check. Hang on, I've got it here somewhere. The Toledo Castilla-La Mancha in Spain. That's in Toledo. Sorry, the Castilla-La Mancha in Toledo, Spain. That's where this was filmed. Most of the exteriors were filmed in Spain and Malta, and the interiors were filmed. Most of the interiors were filmed in a studio in Spain, which apparently has been demolished. It's not there anymore. And at Pinewood Studios and Shepperton Studios, probably mostly for Ray Harryhausen's bits that he did, and also some second unit work in Jordan as well at Petra. Right, so a coronation's taking place. Right, this is Qasim, Prince Qasim, who is being crowned as the Caliph of Charac. I forgot his bloody name. Damien Thomas plays Qasim, who we're going to see in a moment. But this isn't Qasim. This is the evil Queen Zenobia. She was obviously the wife of the previous Caliph, but the stepmother, the wicked stepmother of Prince Qasim and Princess Farah, who is Jane Seymour, who we're going to see in a minute. But you can tell she's evil. That's Raffi. That's Queen Zenobia's son, played by Kurt Christian, who in the previous Sinbad film, Golden Voyage of Sinbad, played a good guy. But he switched sides in this and names. He's a different character. So he's a bad guy. So here we go. There we go. Lots of lovely ladies. There's Jane Seymour in veils and things. I don't know how historically it isn't. I'm going to say I don't know how historically accurate this film is, but just it isn't historically accurate or ethnically accurate. I don't think. Anyway, so here we go. Right, there you go. Screenplay by Beverly Cross. There you go. Story by Beverly Cross and Ray Harryhausen. I think Beverly Cross also did the script for Clash of the Titans. I think. I'll look it up. I'm sure. I think it's a he as well. Yes, Alan Beverly Cross. Let's have a look. I'm sure he did Clash of the Titans. Did Jason of the Argonauts? Yes, Clash of the Titans. Genghis Khan, 1965. Is that the one with John Wayne? Don't know. And he did some work on Lawrence of Arabia as well. So he got about. Did Alan? Why did he stick with Alan Cross? Because it's just confusing people using the name Beverly, which most people think is a girl's name, but it can be a boy's name as well. They're a famous photographer. One of the Page 3 photographers were called Beverly, and that was a fella. Anyway, whatever. I digress. Right, here we go. So they're getting ready. They're sticking the crown on him. They're taking off wearing his princely crown there. They're going to take that off and pop on the Caliph's crown. We get some coals because they're doing all fortune telling and stuff for some reason. Although they're not in this, they're just there. Don't know why. And they get ready to crown him, but then she's up to something because she's evil and wicked and a sorceress of some sort. And before they have a chance to put the crown on, she does something. Then we see the coals, and then they're going to burst into flames in any minute. There we go. It's like an explosion. And Beverly, not Beverly, I'm talking about Beverly. Told you it's going to be on my brain now. Jane Seymour screams, and I think in the background you can just hear the sometimes I can hear it, sometimes I can't. It's weird, like the chattering of an ape or a monkey or something. Because spoilers, he's been transformed into a baboon. They're all looking scared. She's screaming, but we don't see it yet. And then we cut to Sinbad's ship. Does it have a name? Did ships of that era have names? I've no idea. I'm just curious. Here they are sailing to shore in a day for night shot. Here we've got some cool matte paintings. Lots of cool matte paintings in this, and also like double and triple exposures with like real locations superimposed on top of one another. Anyway, so for some reason they're arriving by moonlight at the city of Charak, and here they are. These crews coming aboard, getting ready to enjoy the girls and food of Charak. So off they go. All right, they all want to have fun, and then Sinbad saying, "Well, if we stop, we'll go no further." And then they talk about something that happened on the previous voyage, or a previous trip here, I think. And hang on, does it say? There we go. This chap, whose name I've forgotten, was stripped of his possessions, and then he just comes out with, yes, and there were several more eunuchs after that. Hang on, see if it says it. There we go. Because of that, I added, I think that's Abu Sia. He's called Abu Sia, which is actually somewhere in Egypt, in it, but never mind. Because of that, I added 4 more eunuchs to the population. So there's kids in the audience saying, "Mummy, what's a eunuch?" Will be, won't they? Anyway, never mind. So they're gonna have fun, and this is I forgot the bloody names. Tell him, Piggy Hopeless, Maroof. I was gonna say that as well. Why didn't I just say it? Maroof, played by Salami Coker, or Salami Coker. I don't know how to pronounce it. His only movie credit is this film. He did some TV and all that, a little bit. But this is his only movie credit. So he's going to stay behind and dance badly. Are you ready? Here he goes. It's super racist, is this film, by the way. I shouldn't be laughing. But anyway, they find that the city is closed. They're not allowed in. There's nobody, no guards about, nobody, answering their calls until this chap appears. And we see that it's Raffi, but he's not letting on that it's Raffi, saying he's a merchant, and there's talk of the plague. There's a plague in the city, so that's why it's all locked up. And anyway, he's come for the coronation, and obviously he's arrived late because they were going to coronate. They were going to crown him before he even arrived, so it'd have been late anyway. But he's come for that, and also to see Farah, because he loves Farah, because he must have a princess in every part. Every film, he's got like a different woman, hasn't he? He's worse than James Bond, is Sinbad. But anyway, Raffi's telling him that Prince Kasim has not been crowned yet, for some reason, and that was 3 months ago. Excuse me. So, and if he's not crowned within, I think is it 7 moons or 7 months, something like that, he won't be, able to become caliph. Right, they're saying, but they're saying we should go back to the ship and all that. Say, no, I'm staying here. But it is the plague. Pah, pah, giving it all that, By the way, Charles H. Schneer apparently didn't like Patrick Wayne. There he is. He said that the cast him. They thought, it's John Wayne's son, he'll be fine. And they said, as soon as he opened his mouth, they knew they'd made a terrible mistake. Don't know why. I think he's fine in this. I think he's a good leading man, is Patrick Wayne. He's handsome. He delivers his lines. He's good with the action. I don't know what. I think it's because he doesn't put an accent on. But then again, neither did Kerwin Matthews. John Philip Law, in the previous film, he put a faux Middle Eastern accent on, Arabian, I suppose you could say, accent. But Patrick Wayne doesn't. So they did try to get John Philip Law for this film, but he was unavailable for some reason. Right. So it says, come to my tent. The gates will be open in morning or something like that. And but come to my tent. You have my servants are yours and all stuff like that. So here they go. Right, so they're inside his tent and there's lovely belly dancers and stuff, and there's Abusia being all lecherous and eating whatever he's eating and spitting it out and being all, sinful, but they're dancing away. They're lovely belly dancers, This is a time, they're supposed to be Muslims, by the way, aren't they? Because they talk about Allah and all this. The Sinbad stories are from the 8th and 9th centuries. They're supposed to be like Muslims, but they're not like modern Muslims of today. So I think all this would be frowned upon, wouldn't it? Especially drinking wine and stuff like that. But anyway. Never mind. Let's just skim over that. Right, anyway, and I'm not sure what they're eating there, but I'm sure that wouldn't be allowed either. But anyway. Right, anyway, we find out that the wine or whatever is poisoned because Abusia swigs his down, he's the first to it, and then he suddenly goes, oh, and they'll say, oh, the wine's poisoned. Obviously the food's not. There he is, look. He starts fighting. Him and Sinbad and Raffi start having a bit of a sword fight. And there we go. And this soon overpowers him. Oh, look, he's caught him on his arm, look. And he's going, who are you? And then suddenly Zenobia comes in. You can tell she's bad because they do a little musical thing where she goes, like, I don't know, kind of spooky. See if it does it. Let me unmute it. In a minute. There you go, you can tell she's bad. So she comes in, and she goes, from the underworld, come forth. They do a lot of stuff like that in this, just chanting nonsense and making things happen. But then, here we go, we get a first look at some Ray Harryhausen monsters. Sometimes they're called imps, sometimes they're called ghouls. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I always thought they were like little demons, like imps. So they're obviously some sort of demonic entities that come out, and each one's got different coloured eyes, so you can tell them apart. And there we go. Destroy them, kill Sinbad. They look kind of cool, I must admit. I remember this from when I was a kid. They actually kind of scared me a little bit, but because they look kind of creepy, don't they? And she just stands there watching. By the way, I think this is where we see her eyes turn into cat's eyes for the first time. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. It looks okay in a still, but in the film, when she does it, they have to freeze frame so they can overlay the cat's eyes, and it looks kind of goofy. But anyway. Is that the eye of the tiger of the title? Kind of, I suppose, because we'll see later on where that comes from. Anyway, so they start fighting these imps. Off they go, fighting imps. This is cool, they're throwing fire and stuff like that. See, they're only little. Pardon me, I haven't got my drink, have I? Hang on, bear with me. I'm getting dry already. I forgot to bring it over. Right, where were we? Recorded as live. So they have a little fight. Here we go. Oh, there we go. They throw... there we go. Throw some fire at them. So they're fighting away. I forgot his name as well. There's Nadim Sawala's in it, and he plays Hassan. Hassan stabs one through the chest, as we'll see in a minute. Here we go. This might be that. This might be this bit. There we go. Stabs it through the chest. There you go. But it doesn't do anything to it. It doesn't kill it. It just looks. Ooh, look, you've stabbed me. I shall continue fighting. So they carry on. Anyway, they all run away. Oh, my, she says, "Come, Rafi, we must leave." Super overacting. This is Margaret Whiting, by the way, as Zenobia. So the action goes outside. Again, looks cool. You know, he's matched the lighting as well as he can. It's obviously day for night. But here we are fighting. And it deals with them. This is years before Return of the Jedi. How many years? 6 years before Return of the Jedi. The way the Ewoks got rid of an AT-ST walker, AT-ST, however you want to pronounce it, Scout walker. Years before that. So this is how he deals with the imps. There we go. He cuts that rope. Down they go. They get buried under the logs. So that's the end of them. Obviously, they can't be stabbed, but they can be squished. Anyway, then Princess Farah pops up and says, "Captain Sinbad, wait." It's very, very formal with him. "Captain Sinbad." Supposed to be in love. But anyway. She almost looks like she's got cat's eyes there, doesn't she? Is Jane Seymour a reptilian? Anyway. Oh, of course, the cat wants to go. Speaking of cats, my cat wants to go out now because I've started doing this. She's been quiet, lying there behind this monitor that I'm looking at here where the camera's on top. She's been lying there quiet for hours. And as soon as I start doing this, see, she wants to go out. So I'm probably going to have an edit now. Can I pause? I can pause, can't I? I shall pause the recording. Back in the... Right, I'm back. Recording resumed, it says. I hope it has. I've never done that before. We will see what happens. Anyway, where were we? Jane Seymour, a reptilian, or a cat woman, or whatever. She's found him. So, you know, she's got something to tell him. And it says, not here, not now. So they've got to, you know, get to the ship. By the way, his crew, they've all buggered off. They've taken the boat and they've left him. Here we go. They go running and they encounter. Is this way? They encounter a black figure. There we go. I presume that's supposed to be Queen Zenobia. Probably. I don't know. Or is it just a devilish form she's sent to cut him off? Anyway, they just decide to jump in the water. Whee! So off they go. They've got to swim to this miniature boat. I'm guessing this is a bit of forced perspective. I'm guessing that's a really tiny boat closer to the camera. But I don't know. It might not be. That's me. Anyway, so keep rowing back to the ship. We'll swim the whole way. Instead of just swimming to the boat, they'll swim all the way to the ship. Anyway, so they climb up. And as you can see, well, we'll see it better in a minute. Jane Seymour's got all these braids in her hair, which caused a bit of a problem when they were filming, because it took such a long time for them to do. Apparently, she had to have them redone every day. I don't know how long this scene. It's the only time you see them in this film, so I don't know how long this section of the film took to film. But I presume a few days. But it caused problems because it took hours for her to do her hair and then to have them taken out again at night. Why? Don't know, but she did. Anyway, it tells them to go and, you know, raise anchor or whatever, and they're going to go offshore, so to be safe. Right, so here we go. There we see her. By the way, we see lots of shots of Jane Seymour's naked back in this. And there is some nudity in it later on, but super brief, so I'll have to be quick. Which she didn't want to do, but Charles H. Schneer talked her into it. But anyway, there you go. You see her braids on her wet back. You see these braids that she's got. She had them done all over because she thought, because she's in the water, she didn't want to have to mess with her hair and have her hair all frizzy and stuff like that. After being in the water, so she thought, I'll do these braids because it was her idea. She did it and had it done originally, and so that we can do it over and over, and we won't have to worry about continuity. But then after this scene, she just has it, you know, without the braids, which gives her hair this. I think after they've taken the braids out, it gives her hair like this crimped look. She was saying at the time, you know, like hot crimpers didn't exist back in them, like 1975 when it was filmed. I think it was just because she'd had the hair in these braids, the hair looked, crimped. But anyway, whatever. But yes, and so several hours each day, a few women, or I presume women, were doing these braids in the hair. She said she did the front braids herself, and other people did the back. And then several hours after filming are completed, to take them out. I don't know why. Why don't you just keep them in? Maybe they're just to redo them every day. Maybe it got a bit messy or whatever. I don't know. But several hours each day, having them done and then having them undone. People were happy with her. Anyway. He does this. He puts his knife in the coals, then gives her some, I presume it's wine, and dips his hot knife in the wine. Is that some sort of cure-all? Is that mulled wine? Will that help? I don't know. Because it won't warm it up very much, will it? It'll just cool the knife down. But anyway, whatever. So he's giving her some mulled wine, and she's telling him the score, basically, that something's happened to Prince Kasim. He hasn't been crowned because of what's happened. She hasn't told him yet, but she does off screen. He's saying, he owes his life to Prince Kasim. He owes his life to Prince Kasim, but for her he would give his life because he loves her. There you go. For him, he would risk his life. And said, "For you, I would give it." But anyway, so she's going to stay there for the night. And she decided, because this is where we learn, he's going to ask Prince Kasim for her hand in marriage, or the Caliph, or not the Caliph, the Vizier. Who's in charge? We see him in a minute. The Vizier. For her hand in marriage, and who's her uncle is the Vizier. But she says she will accept, but only when her brother can give his consent as well. Right, there you go. Anyway, so next day. Right, she's going to rest now. Next day, here we go. They're back on land, getting provisions and a monkey, maybe, I don't know. But so they've gone back to port, and here comes the Vizier. This is a bit problematic. Maroof decides, as far as I can see, the only black man on Sinbad's ship, he decides is going to be a footstool. There we go. And he just gets down, uses him as a footstool, doesn't say thanks or anything like that, Why didn't they ask one of the other crew members to do it? Don't know. There's another slightly, I suppose, racially insensitive line later on. But anyway. Right, so this is where we learn that something's happened to Kasim, Prince Kasim. Still isn't showing us yet. But there you go. There you go. Her hair looks. She had all the braids taken out, and her hair looks all crimped. Jane Seymour's lovely hair. So they've got to find a way now to sort out what's happened to Prince Kasim. But still not telling us what's up. He's been transformed in some way. But they don't know. They're not telling us, what's happened yet. And this is where we're learning that they need somebody of great wisdom to help them. And then, I forgot his name, Hassan pipes up. Melanthius, he can, the hermit of Kazgar. And he can help them because he's super wise. So that's what they're going to do. But then Zenobia arrives. Here she comes. In a little sedan. Is that what they're called? Sedan, I think it is, isn't it? There we go. Zenobia, my stepmother, she hates me. My mother died when I was born. I mean, this script is so bad, I'm surprised I didn't say my mother died before I was born, but, wouldn't have been surprised if they'd have put that in, because this script is awful. Anyway, here we go. So, she is being all nice. But she's saying that Kasim will never be crowned and all that, and and all that stuff. Jane Seymour just wants to punch her in the face, but she's not allowed to. So Anyway, then Jane Seymour, being a bit of not Jane Seymour, Princess Farah, being a bit thick. People keep spilling their guts to Zenobia in this film inadvertently. She blurts out, "Melanthius will help us," and he says he doesn't exist. He's a myth. Anyway, so there you go. He says, "Well, we will see, 'cause we're going." So there. So she leaves. So she's got her own plans. So they're going to get ready and bugger off to Kazgar, the Isle of Kazgar, which just looks just like Petra in Jordan. Curiously enough, Petra in Jordan is where Nadim Sawalha, who plays Hassan, he was born in Jordan. Anyway, right. So here's Rafi showing that he's like a genius, a mechanical genius, because he's, I think, he's made. Minoton, because we see it in a minute, and we see it see it in there. It's going to show us it. No, it's going to show us it in a minute. There's Zenobia's castle, all misty and spooky. But there you go. He's fashioned the Minoton's heart out of gold, and I presume is made Minoton as well, and also this ship that they've got, or is it a boat, whatever. So that's what they're going to do. There we go. There's Minoton, the forging Minoton in a furnace, and comes to life using her magic. But anyway, they're getting ready to go, and this is where we find out that there's a baboon. There we go, a baboon in a cage, and it turns out that's Prince Kasim. He's been transformed into a baboon. A stop-motion baboon, although in some shots it's a fella in a suit, and I've forgotten his name. I've seen it here somewhere. Where is it? Pierre Mattox, sometimes played Prince Kasim the baboon, is uncredited. Speaking of uncredited, also Peter Mayhew's uncredited as the Minoton. I think I said that earlier on, didn't I? In some wide shots. I think they could have used him elsewhere as well. I was thinking, why didn't they just use Peter Mayhew for these shots? And you can tell that the stop motion. But anyway, so they're all taunting this baboon. Does he do any tricks? And she's saying, "No, don't worry. They mean no harm. They don't understand, etc." Meanwhile, Zenobia's putting the mechanical heart. Look, it's all going clockwork and stuff like that into Minoton, and she pours this. She's got this magic potion. She's got two magic potions, actually, in this film. She's got a red one, which I think this is what we're seeing here, that can transform things. And she's got another one that's more explosive, that we see at the end, that's never used before, I don't think. But luckily she has that. There we go, its eyes open, look. I presume that's Peter Mayhew's hand. That's obviously not stop motion. Right, so they're going to set off now. They've got the vizier has got his men watching Queen Zenobia's castle. There they are. One of them had nodded off, so this the sergeant or whatever he is. Does he have a name? I have no idea. I don't think he's even credited, so I don't know. But the boss with the eye patch. He's really threatening to his own men, who orders are to keep a watch on Zenobia's castle, or I'll slit your throat. Hang on, is it going to do it here? There you go. That's not a way to, keep your men in line, really, is it? But anyway, as I said, they've gone for a more gritty adult theme, maybe. Anyway, all right, next morning, Hassan's doing his maintenance on the outside of the ship, and then he looks through the window and he sees Princess Farah and the baboon, who he doesn't know is Prince Kasim. Only Sinbad and her know, obviously, so far. The rest of the crew don't know yet. Sees them playing chess. There we go. And so he's surprised. Says, "Oh, is it for the circus? Is it a gift for Melanthius, a chess-playing baboon?" But he goes and gets in his cage. She's saying, "Get out!" And Sinbad comes in and saying, I saw it playing chess with the princess. And he goes, yes, I know, it's beaten me twice already. And then he says, because it's Prince Cassim. And he don't believe him. And says, how do you know? You've not been bewitched to believe this ugly creature is Cassim. But then he writes on the wall. Luckily he had a piece of coal. It just happened to be there. Writes, I am Cassim in English. Well, it should be in Arabic or something, shouldn't it? But never mind, it doesn't matter. It's been translated for us. I am Cassim. So there we go. It was morning there, wasn't it? But now it's gone back to night time for these. Kind of confusing, but never mind. All over the place. They see this boat. There's Minoton. This is Peter Mayhew. There we go. Peter Mayhew there, being Minoton, rowing the boat himself. I'm not exactly sure how this boat works. Again, I bet it was designed and built by Raffi. I say he's a mechanical genius. Somehow, Minoton is rowing the boat. I think 12 oars in total, or is it 3 on each side? Is it 6 on each side? 3? No, it might be 6. 6 oars. 3 on each side, and somehow steering it as well. Don't ask me how. From this one thing here that is giving it all that with, doing that with. Look. But right, so they're gonna go and intercept it in their little rowing boat. So she says, "Minoton." That's how she says it every time. Minoton. She don't just say it normally. She's got to go Minoton. Go and run them over. There you go. Minoton! We'll head into them. So that's what they do. Don't know how. Because you don't see him working a rudder or anything. But it doesn't matter. So they run into them and they all die, except for him with the eye patch. And I think his eye patch has changed sides, hasn't it? I'm sure it was on the other side. It's over his... Hang on, which way now? It's over his right eye now. I'm sure it was over his left eye before. Don't worry about it. So obviously he can't swim. He says, "Save me." So she says, all she says is "Minoton." And Minoton, goes and checks him out, picks up a spear. There we go. And in a quite, brutal scene, just skewers him and picks him up and dumps him over the other side, like that. So then, anyway, and then goes back to his post. Right. Anyway. They're underway. Sinbad's underway as well, and it suddenly got foggy. And they've magically arrived at Kazgar. Took them no time to get there, didn't it? It must have been really close, but they've managed to get there. Right, so they've got to go and find Melanthius now. Here we go. As I said... filmed in Spain and Malta. Don't ask me which bits were filmed where. I think the bits at Charac, I think that were Malta. And maybe there's the seaside, not the seaside bits, the scenery bits, with mountains and stuff like that, I think were filmed in Spain. But don't quote me on that. They're off. Back with Peter Mayhew again. And then cutting back to a stop motion one. Why don't they just keep Peter Mayhew there? I mean, he looked fine, didn't he? Anyway, never mind. Right, so anyway, they're following them. Right, so they're going through this canyon. I think they're at Petra now. I think this is Petra. And the main cast never went to Petra. There was an interview with Jane Seymour saying, I never went to Petra. I just went to Malta and Spain, and that was it. And she fainted in one scene, which we'll get to later on. Because it was so hot. There you can see they're not there. Obviously, I don't know if Nadim Sawala were there. Maybe he was, I don't know, with like a second unit crew. But Patrick Wayne and Jane Seymour were definitely not there because you can tell because they're like badly composited onto, a plate. There's some really bad, I suppose it was green screen because there's like a green halo around people a lot in this film. Like that, for instance. You can see it around there, around the edge over there. Never mind. So they're on the right path. Hassan notices there's people watching them from the tops of the cliffs. So he runs to catch up. So it looks like he's actually there. So they took Nadim Sawalha to Petra in Jordan. Maybe because he's from there, because he'll have a Jordanian passport. So maybe he pulled some strings. Maybe, I don't know. But there they go. It must be. I wonder if it's hard to get like approval to film. Like a big movie at Petra, because it was the same with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You can tell that the main cast and so weren't really there. You can tell that there were always like wide shots of like lookalikes, people in the same costumes, when they showed the monuments and stuff. So I wonder if it's like hard to get permission to do like serious filming. They're allowed to get B-roll footage essentially, aren't they? Or plates. But anyway, that's what they're doing. Right, so here we go. They arrive. There we go. More bad green screen. There we go. We see the Temple of Petra. I think that's. I've never been. And also, my mate's wife and his mum. They've been to Petra. Somewhere I'd love to go. It's one of these mysterious places, isn't it? Because I think, doesn't it predate like Greek and Roman architecture? Some have said that the Greeks and Romans were inspired by what they saw here at Petra. I don't know, because I don't know much about it. Anyway, so they're here anyway. They've arrived. It's some sort of treasury or something, isn't it? That's what they call it, something like that. Anyway, they're going to get stones thrown at them now. Some more terrible compositing. Here we go. They're throwing stones at them. If one of them stones hit them, they'd die, wouldn't they? But anyway. There we go. There's more. Is it going to show it? There we go. It goes like that. Oh, in a minute. Anyway. But then Taryn Power appears. Oh, we missed her. I'm telling them to stop. I'm going to show her. There she is. There's Taryn Power, daughter of Tyrone Power. Ooh, she passed away, unfortunately, in, I think, 2020. I think it was 2020. Let me check. Yes, 2020. Of leukemia, which is sad. She was only 66 when she passed away. Anyway, Taryn Stephanie Power. Anyway, so she's there. She plays Dione, the daughter of Melanthius, and she tells the men to stop throwing things. And so they've come to see Melanthius. So it's right, fair enough. So she tells them to go. So anyway, so she comes down to see him. Right, so they're gonna go. Obviously, she doesn't live there. They've got to go somewhere else now. So she's taking them round here. There's some more, what they call it. I think it is anyway. I don't think that's actually there. I think this is. I don't know if it's a matte painting or actual ruins. Some sort. I don't know, to be honest. Looks cool. Right. So there we go. More ruins. I think this is probably at Petra as well. More Petran ruins. I said I've not been. And this is where she has a bit of psychic powers going off. Is it going to show it? Here she has, because she's psychically connected to Melanthius. And so, there you go. She calls it telepatheia, a Greek word for communication of the mind, because everybody can do it. Anyway, right, here he is. Here's Patrick Troughton as Melanthius. May know him as the second Doctor in Doctor Who, and he's been loads of other stuff. He was in Jason and the Argonauts, and The Omen. Famously got skewered in The Omen, didn't he, by a lightning rod. Anyway, so they tell him, what the deal is. This is Prince Kasim, and they've got to turn him back into the prince before seventh full moon. Remember, three months have passed already. 3 moons have passed. Anyway, it seems he's got Kasim and Dione have a connection. Anyway, so they're off into his lab, and Oh, that there we go. We have a Star Wars-like iris. He's got a magnifying glass. I don't know if they had lenses in 8th or 9th century Arabia. I thought they came about later. But never mind. By the way, he also talks about Archimedes being a friend of his. Archimedes is like 400 years before when this is supposed to be set. Unless Archimedes is immortal. Oh, by the way, there's the Blu-ray. I forgot to show it earlier on. There we go. Decent Blu-ray, some nice special features, but the special features are stuff that are generally on all the Ray Harryhausen DVDs and Blu-rays. So nothing really, not like commentary or anything, specifically about this. The only good thing that's specifically about this film is an interview with Jane Seymour, which was interesting. Right. So where were we? No, he's giving him an exam. Look, behaving himself. So, right. So he's wondering what to do. All right. He's unsure if he believes that it's Prince Kasim. So he shows him a mirror, and Prince Kasim, the baboon, is moved to tears because he's a baboon now. He recognises his own reflection. So he says, "Oh, right, I believe you now," because a true baboon would attack its reflection, thinking it an adversary or whatever, an enemy. So there we go. So he now believes. There you go. So he shakes his hand. "Pleased to meet you, Prince Kasim." Meanwhile, Zenobia's still on their trail. Oh, aye. There's reefs surrounding Kazgar. And obviously Sinbad, being a super-duper sailor, avoids them. But Minaton and Raffi and Zenobia don't, and the oars are smashed. And it's up to Raffi to mend them. As I said, he's some sort of mechanical genius. Anyway, he's unsure what to do. There you go. She says that Zenobia's used powerful black magic, and he's more of a scientist than a sorcerer or a magician. But is thinking about it. He says, "Try him with some of these," and they give him. It says, what does he say now? He calls him an ape or something. Like, real apes are mostly vegetarian, and he's not an ape. Baboons are monkeys, aren't they? Ground monkeys. But anyway, never mind. At least they're not using an ape and calling it a monkey, which happens more often, doesn't it? But never mind. And later on in the film, they suggest that the longer he stays a baboon, the more like a baboon he will become. And then later on in the film, they say, "Oh, he's starting to turn carnivorous." I thought, "Oh, baboons aren't carnivorous. I mean, they're omnivorous, aren't they? They'll eat anything. But they mostly eat vegetable, fruit and grass and stuff like that. But they will eat meat, they'll eat birds and insects and stuff like that. But they're mostly vegetarian, aren't they? Anyway, right, so what are we doing now? She gives him some the smallest bananas in the world. Bananas he likes those, so she gives him a banana. And it's the teeniest, tiniest banana you've ever seen. In the show, was it? There we go. Could they find a smaller banana? What is supposed to be bigger? But it's supposed to be like a giant baboon, or were just bananas really small back in the olden days? I don't know, but it's teeny tiny, isn't it? Look at it. Anyway, so he's enjoying his banana. And that's where he's saying, the longer he stays a baboon, the more likely he'll lose his human qualities. For reason and stuff like that. It becomes more aggressive, and it starts not responding to human contact and stuff like that, except for Dione later on. But anyway. But he has an idea. He thinks of the Adamaspi. There were a super-duper people that lived in Hyperborea, which is at the top of the world, but they didn't. I looked it up. The Adamaspi were people that lived perhaps in the Carpathian or the Ural Mountains. And there were a race, in myth, there were a race, allegedly, of cyclopses. But I suppose he couldn't do that because he'd done a cyclops in Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, hadn't he? But we don't see any Adamaspi anyway, so it doesn't matter. Turns out, I think they were supposed to be Egyptians, but we'll get to that at the end of the film. So she's going to look for the scrolls, and she finds them. It's keeping all these ancient scrolls, all super delicate and all that, in with the guinea pigs. Were guinea pigs a thing back then? I don't know where guinea pigs are originally from. I should look that up. But it's keeping these super important ancient scrolls in with the guinea pigs. And she also finds something else as well that I don't know how he's got, but never mind. So he's looking at these Arimaspai scrolls, and it tells us where to find the land of Hyperborea. There we go. That's sailing directions apparently. They've obviously based it kind of on like Sumerian, what they call it, cuneiform, isn't it? That's what it is, with little notches and stuff. But they've obviously changed it about. So they've got to go to Hyperborea, which is essentially the North Pole, but it's supposed to be all lovely and warm there, but surrounded by ice. But there's it says there, a warm green valley at the northernmost point of the world. Then he's got a lovely map that shows us everything we need to see, like a pyramid and a gate with a face on it and other stuff. But that's where they've got to go. But he still doesn't. He's not sure if he wants to go with them yet. And he's saying that the Arimaspai was super duper and highly technological and all that jazz, like ancient aliens. And they had power. They had this power that kept their land free of the ice. He says, "I've been working with some of that stuff myself." And then he shows them this machine is built. And he's saying, "You should come with us." And he says, "I'm too old." And he says, "I'm gonna, I'm gonna show you this first." But then he says, "Oh, where did you find this Dione?" And she says, "Oh, it was with the scrolls." And he says, "Oh, the key to the shrine." I thought, what's he doing with it? And I don't know, but anyway, he's got the key to the shrine. But as we'll see, it's useless because I don't bloody use it. But never mind. There you go. The only means of opening the door to the shrine, which apparently you can't see, but that's whatever. Right, so he's going to use I think this was supposed to be like a laser, but I don't think they didn't bother putting a laser on it. Using candles as the light source, or just some way to transfer heat. I don't know, but anyway. Goes through crystals and stuff and then explodes, boils water and explodes the jar at the end. This is enough. This successful experiment, which he says replicates the power of the Arimaspai, but their power's 1,000,000 times more great for good. He says, "I will go with you." And I'd be like, if I were him, saying, "What do you mean? Are you going to boil Prince Kasim or just make him explode?" But they don't say that. He just says, "Yes, I'll go with you," because he just changed his mind, just like that. So, anyway, off they go. Then he's looking through his sextant now. I don't think they were a thing either, whether in the 8th century. He said, "I can't see the sun," even though it's obviously the sun's there, because you can see it shining on him. But he says, because it's foggy. Oh, what happened then? But anyway, they're carrying on, and she gets cross. She says, "Rafi, they are leaving," and he's still mending the oars. There you go. Right, she's asleep. They're talking about how far they've got to go. He's looking at the map, and Kasim's starting to, become more baboon-like, slowly. Anyway, I'm not sure how long we've got. I think it does say somewhere that there's only so many moons left. Does it say? It might be. I might have missed it. Never mind. There you go. Zenobia's telling them they're moving north towards the Celtic Isles, which is, where we're from. Well, me, people in the UK, that's the Celtic Isles, aren't they? So they're following them. But she wants to know more. So how's she going to find out more? So she's going to use a magic potion, I think she's going to try and use psychic powers first, is she? Yeah, she can't. I don't think she can. I think she can't get through. So she's going to use her magic potion to turn herself into a seagull. Here she goes, and she's got to do her forces of darkness and hell and whatever. Because they've got to do an incantation, haven't they? But anyway, Raffy comes in and sees his mother writhing and moaning on her bed, and I thought, I'll back out slowly. But no, she's turning into a seagull with some, okay, transition effects, I suppose, or coloured stuff. And there we go. She turned into a seagull. Don't ask me what sort it is. I'm not big on seagulls. Is it a herring gull? I've no idea. Right, so she turned into a seagull, and off she flies to Sinbad's ship. So they're having, they're getting ready to sail to these colder climes. They've got Hassan and others, Abu Siya. There's another one as well, whose name we're told, but I've forgotten it. But he dies. He's a red shirt. He's got a red shirt on as well. Might be him. Anyway, they're making sleds for the snow. Hang on, does it say how many we've got? No, it doesn't say, does it? It's just saying another moon's on the wane. Yes, now the moon is this the fourth moon? Don't know. Anyway, he's telling him, got to study my design. It needs more curve on the runners because the snow will be deep. And Hassan says, but master, I have never seen snow. You wouldn't think so. But anyway, here comes Zenobia as a seagull heading towards the ship. He tells Hassan to go and sharpen the knife thing he's using, which he does. He just starts sharpening it. And then he tells him again, Hassan, I told you to sharpen that knife. I thought, you what doing? I saw him. But never mind. Anyway, she goes behind this rope. And for some reason, she keeps herself titchy-tiny. Much like me in the corner here. There you go. She goes behind there. Bahadin. I wasn't thinking of him. There we go. That's the other one, Bahadin. I think he dies later on, or is it another one? I've forgotten. But anyway, does it tell us in the who we got? No, Bahadin isn't even in the bloody thingamabobs credits on IMDb at least. Let's have a look on Wikipedia. No, not on Wikipedia either. Poor Bahadin. Doesn't even get a credit. Never mind. Right, where were we? They're still making this shit. There we go. Hassan, I told you to get that knife sharpened. He was doing it. Bloody hell. Anyway, she's made herself tiny, look. There she is. She's not a seagull anymore, but she's just a teeny tiny human. Don't know how she did it. Maybe she used a potion again. I don't know. It didn't show us. She just went behind them ropes. Some smoke came out, and then she came out the other side. She was a teeny tiny human. Dione is trying to get Prince Kasim to do some writing again, but he doesn't want to know, and he just bats it out of her hand. And there you go. Goes back into his cage, and he puts his arm through. To say, I'm sorry, but she hits his hand and doesn't want anything to do with him. Now then, in the official subtitles on the Blu-ray, she just says baboon. I thought, what? But she obviously says bad boon. So we'll see what it says on here. Is it going to tell us? Come on, show us. Yeah, she just says baboon. She doesn't say baboon, she says bad boon. It's a pun, a play on words. So, whoever did the subtitles is a moron. Meanwhile, tiny Zenobia's watching. She's under Kasim's cage, and he can see her, and he starts kicking off. There you go. But anyway, the capturer, eventually, I think she nearly gets skewered by a knife in a minute. As she's spying on them. Oh, look, he gets out, look, and he chases her. She runs behind all this stuff. Anyway, the catcher grabs hold of her, there we go, with his big fake hand. Like, you can just see it behind me. And then they just stuff her in a jar. And Princess Farah says, you should have left her to him, as in Cassim. You know, he'd have eaten her, wouldn't he? But he wants to interrogate her, and he wants to know how she can change herself, make herself tiny. Obviously, they don't know that she's turned into a seagull to get there. They just see her as a tiny person. But, I'll not tell you anything. Anyway, he sends the girls away for some reason, because he don't want to see him torturing her, because that's what he's about to do, or attempt to. They say, I will never tell you! So he gets out a bee. It's obviously a bee, as we see there. Look, it's a bee, that, isn't it? You see it's a bee. Don't ask what sort of bee. Honeybee, bumblebee. I'm not big on insects, but there we go. So he gets that out, and she's like, oh no, you're going to kill me. And so he puts it in, well, tell me what I want to know, and he puts it in a little jar. And then he starts showing her everything. There we go. Says, maybe you came to see this. And he holds it up to her for ages so she can memorise the entire map. And he says, oh, maybe this. And he holds up the key. And so she's like, oh, that as well. And he says, how could you know of Hyperborea? She goes, ha ha ha. So he's an idiot. He's supposed to be this super wise man, but he's a moron. But she tries to get into his head, using her psychic powers. But he resists a bit. And so this is when he says, you must have some sort of potion. So he says, what is it? And then she notices her locket's gone. So when she was running from Cassim, it obviously fell from her neck. So he finds it on the floor, and it's smashed, and most of the potion's gone. He says, look, it's evaporating, there's not much left. He puts it on this little, yellow thing there. He says, we'll have to test it out. So he gets that bee out again, and pops that. Is it going to show it? There we go. Go back again. There we go. He puts the bee, which has turned into a wasp now, it seems. I mean, it was a little fluffy bee, wasn't it? All fur, because bees are all furry, aren't they? Now it's turned into a wasp, hornet. I don't know what it's supposed to be. It keeps changing, this insect. Metamorphosizing. Anyway, the bee has some of the potion, and then that just grows super big. Do you not need the incantation? Because I'm sure a bee's not doing incantations, incants, is it? Unless it's doing it in its own bee language, I don't know. Anyway, it just grows really big into... I've heard it described as a bee. Somebody calls it a bee, somebody calls it a mosquito. I'm sure I read somewhere, probably in a magazine back in the day, that it was a hornet. I've no idea what it is supposed to be. But it's growing big anyway. So there we go. So it starts flapping about. Oh, and she's with, kill the Greek. Because, obviously insects know what nationality a person is. But she's happy now, look. Anyway, so there he is. He's hiding under the table from it. Right, she gets out of the jar, because it gets knocked over in the commotion, does the jar. So she gets out, she can go get a potion. There you go. She puts some back in what she can back in her locket, and then she laps up the rest and turns into a seagull again. I didn't hear her do the incantation. That must be optional. Anyway, so all this is kicking off, but then Sinbad and Maroof and Hassan come in, and they go, it's a mad bee. He says, no, it's not a bee, it's a mosquito. But anyway, it's flying about, as you can see, like that. And Sinbad's there as well. He sees the knife on the floor. There you go. Earlier on, that's the knife that nearly skewered Zenobia. I missed that bit. I've skipped over that bit. Doesn't matter. So he picks that up, and he's saying, kill the bird, because it's got the locket. He says, kill the bird first, and he just ignores him. Hang on. He just ignores him. There we go. Kill the bird first. We need the locket. But he just ignores him and kills the bee, whatever it is, insect. Look at that stinger. Whatever it is. And she escapes, and he goes to grab the seagull. Julie, you'd think they'd have another knife on him, wouldn't you? But never mind. But she escapes and flies away. So anyway, he chucks the bee out the window. And he says, I'm profoundly sorry. You were right, Princess. We should have left her to Cassim. It's bloody late now, isn't it? Now she knows everything you know. Anyway, what's done's done. Dione can calm down Cassim. Anyway, she's flying back to her boat, and then Raffi says, I hope there's enough potion in this locket to transform you back into my mother. There you go. And I don't. He just puts it on his. I mean, I don't know. He just puts it on his hand. What's left, and we presume, as a seagull, she's got a long enough tongue or something. I don't know, to lap it all up. I don't know, but anyway, she turns back, and they're all like, "Oh, it's." Then she, she's okay, but she goes, not enough, not enough." And we look down and we see that she's got a seagull's foot. It's a good job it's only a foot. It could have been worse, couldn't it? She could have had like a seagull's head. Could have been like the fly, couldn't it? But I think she's got off lucky there. Not enough. So she's none of that left now. She can't turn into other things now. But luckily she's got another potion for later. Anyway, right, so they're carrying on their voyage to Hyperborea. And there you go, she's drawn out the map from memory. Because, idiot Melanthius showed her it. And there you go. So now they know where to go. Right. Is this Melanthius playing chess with... yes, it is playing chess with Cassim, but he doesn't want to know, and he just he scatters the chessboard. There you go. He's not interested, because he's turning into a baboon properly. Anyway, there must be a passage of time now, because now it's getting colder now. Look, they're entering they must be in the Arctic Ocean now, look. And they've got their furs on. And according to Jane Seymour, they were untreated furs that they were wearing. By the way, obviously it wasn't filmed in the Arctic. It was filmed in, I think she said Malta. I think it was Malta. Or it could have been Spain. I can't remember. I think it was Spain. It filmed in Spain. She said it was really hot. It was like 100 degrees in the studio where they filmed it. They were all wearing these thick, untreated furs. I don't know what that means. Maybe I don't know. But anyway, untreated. And so she said the stunk. She said all she had on underneath was this orange bikini, but it was still really super hot. And she said she actually fainted one day because of the heat. Anyway. But that's by the by. So we're getting there. There you go. Icebergs ahead. So off they go, carrying on. I hope Minoton isn't affected by the cold. Well, obviously not. Right, so they're heading. There we go. Little icebergs and stuff. And they're looking for a tunnel. Now we've seen some icebergs carving. So I just think it's funny that they said the carving. That's the term, isn't it? Or is that when the iceberg rolls over? I can't remember. Anyway, they're looking for a tunnel. They've got to find a tunnel that'll take them to Hyperborea. But there we go. They find it, but it's too small for the ship to go through. So they've got to go round and then travel across land. So that's a bit of a downer. But then the sea ice now is getting thicker, so they're getting like Shackleton now. What is Shackleton? The Endurance, where his ship got stuck in the ice, didn't it? So they've to get the sledges out. So, but there's no dogs to pull them. So what they must have just people pulling the sledges. I meant to look this up. This is from a famous photo, isn't it? And I forgot what it was. I'm going to have to look it up now. I meant to look it up before I did this, so bear with me. Famous... I think it's from the Antarctic, isn't it? Antarctic photos. Right, there we go. Right, let me find it. It is that one, yes. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. I want to find it. Where are you? There we go. It's based on the best known picture from the heroic age, Herbert Ponting's picture taken from a cave inside an iceberg. Charles Wright, in the original photo, you see Charles Wright and Thomas Griffith Taylor pictured with Scott's ship, the Terra Nova, in the distance. There we go. I'll show you actually, I will. Open image in new tab, and I will drag it across just to show you. There we are. Hang on, there we go. That's the picture I'm on about. Can you see it? Yeah. There we go. That's what it's obviously based on, that famous photo. So that's when Scott went to the Antarctic, I suppose. So there we go. Right, where were we? There they are, dragging the... by the way, so the moon's waning again. Not Patrick waning. I said that before Wingrace says it, because he's going to say it, innit? In the chat during the premiere of this, he'll say Patrick waning. And then we see stock footage of an avalanche, but they're carrying on. Keep pulling. There we go, lots of snow. I think some of the exterior shots, I think were filmed in the Pyrenees. I think they sent a second unit out to film in the Pyrenees, in the mountains where there's a bit of snow. But mostly filmed in the studio. A hot studio in Spain, I think. Right, so anyway, they're carrying on. Off they go. And then they hear a noise. They stop for a minute, and then they hear a noise. And there we go. And a giant walrus pops out of the ice. Why? Dunno. It just does. Because giant walruses were a thing back then, probably. There you go. A giant walrus. How does he know what a walrus is? Has he ever seen one? That walrus is, like I said, from seas or whatever that Sinbad wouldn't really have known about. I don't know. I don't know much about walruses, to be completely honest. Anyway, here it comes. Originally, in the original script, it was supposed to be a Yeti that they were supposed to fight here. Why? Yetis are in the Himalayas, aren't they? They obviously realised that and thought, we'll change it to a giant walrus. There's supposed to be a scene later on as well. We'll get to it. Not with a Yeti, but with another creature, but we'll get to that. So anyway, they're stabbing it with their spears. It's another decent, Ray Harryhausen men fighting the monster and throwing spears at it and stuff like that. There you go. Anyway, it's smashing up their camp, and he says, "Get the cargo net," because that'll help. They throw the cargo net over it, and I don't know what they expect to do, but it's just pulling them about, and then it obviously decides to leave because it's had enough. I've had enough of these pesky humans. I'm going. So off it goes. By the way, it knocks somebody. Hang on, let's see if I can find it. It knocks somebody into the snow, into the water. Let me see if I can find it. It squishes somebody first, but somebody gets knocked, and I'm sure it's that fella that I mentioned earlier on. Let me keep going back till I find it. I think it's before. I think it's during this part. I think is it? Right, bear with me. A giant walrus. Who does it get? It knocks somebody into the frozen water, and we never see him again. And somebody mentions his name. I want to find it. If it's that fella that had that didn't get a credit, should I say? Come on, where are you? Because somebody says don't get close to it or something. No, before this bit, I'm sure it was. I'm not going to find it, am I? Oh dear. It's going to send the YouTube algorithm into this one. Yes, because he gets too close, I think, him. Well, that's Patrick Wayne, isn't it? There were another one. Come on, show us. Oh, never mind. I can't find it. I think it were him that was mentioned earlier on. I've forgotten his name already. Somebody gets is in the ice, so he's dead, and then another one gets squished under the flipper. As we'll see. Or whatever. Alright, and then it goes back into the water. Nearly pulls Maroof under, but they get him out just in time. Is that the fella that's getting squished? gets squished. Don't know who that was. Red shirt number 2. But Maroof nearly gets pulled in to the water because he gets his foot caught in the net, but they get him out just in case. And then he says, "It is said a man has only one life. Now I have 2, and I owe them both to Captain Sinbad." Anyway, so they're all laughing, but then they see the squished man. Don't even mention the fella that got knocked into the water. But anyway, in the icy water. Anyway, so the 2 men down now. Meanwhile, Zenobia, they're still looking for the tunnel. They're marching through the mountains. I think they should take the mines that go through Moria, shouldn't they? Anyway, off they go. As I said, this probably filmed in the Himalayas. Pyrenees somewhere. This. Right, so anyway, so then they get to this alpine valley, I suppose you could call it, with Aurora Borealis, Northern Lights or whatever. And say, "Oh, we've made it, yay, we're there." So there you go. "We call it Aurora Borealis." And you can hear it all like electric going, giving it all that. That's the power of the Aramas pie. Right, so they're all having a lovely time, and there we go. We see Princess Farah and Dione swimming nude in the water. Because you see their bottoms, look. You can see their bottoms. This is where he grabs Hassan's cooking some meat, and Kasim has a sniff, and he wants some meat, so he grabs some meat and says, "Oh, it's turning carnivorous." What? Baboons aren't carnivorous. Whatever. They're omnivorous. I mean, they will eat meat. They will eat, birds and stuff like that. But they mostly eat fruit and grass, etc. Anyway, there no longer responds to human speech or contact except for Dione. Anyway, this is the scene that she didn't want to do, did Jane Seymour, but they talked her into it. So anyway, this is where we're going to meet Trog. So they're sunbathing. There we go. And she screams. See Trog. They go running off. This makes me cringe when she falls over there. Always. There you go. She goes running down and. Oops. And there we go. She slips. Oh, that makes me cringe. Always makes me go, ugh, when I see people like fall unprotected onto like a hard surface. It makes me cringe. It does. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me when I see people fall over onto a hard surface when it's obvious they've no padding or anything like that. I'm thinking, oh, I bet that hurt. Anyway, she's a trooper. She runs off. She doesn't go, "Oh, cut." She carries on. So they're running for their lives, and from Trog, and here he is. They calls him a troglodyte. There's Melanthius. I don't know where he falls in the evolutionary table, but he's like 8 foot tall, with a horn on his head. Why? Because he just does. Because he's got a horn on his head. For no real reason. But they could have had Peter Mayhew play him as well, couldn't they? For wide shots, but they don't. But anyway, never mind. Anyway, so here comes does Melanthius saying, "Don't make any sudden moves, back off slowly and all that." But then he says, "Dione, go up to him and talk to him, because they were known for their gentleness among the female of the species." And I thought, how does he know? How does he know that? Anyway. So I don't know how he knows that they were gentle with the female of the species, but he's willing to risk his own daughter on that theory. There you go. Unbelievable. Anyway, it works, thankfully. But then we also find out that baboons and troglodytes speak the same language somehow. Because Kasim appears. There he is. And they start talking to one another. So there. So, it's obviously a language because he's like talking, chittering and all that, and he's going, and they know what they're saying because he gives him instructions. He says, take him over, bring Trog over there. I thought, well, that doesn't make sense. You know, you take something over there, you bring it here. But never, they said, bring Trog over there. Because he's going to draw a picture of the gate. He must have lost his map when the walrus attacked. I don't know. But he draws a picture of the gate, there we go, on the ground. And he knows what it is. There you go. He looks at that. And he's like, and he nods his head, and he says, it's over there. Well, he points. And says, by all the gods, he's done it. I thought, well, they know which direction it is. They can see from the bloody Aurora Borealis. That's the direction they're going, isn't it? Anyway, whatever. So they're all happy. So they've got a new friend now. Trog's their friend. Meanwhile, Zenobia and Raffi and Minoton, they find the tunnel entrance. There it is, look. They can go, they can fit through because they haven't got a big mast with sails and stuff on. They can go in through the shortcut. They found the shortcut to Hyperborea, haven't they? So in they go. Meanwhile, they're heading. They're heading for the gate. By the way, I said there going to be another creature. I think it said before they met Trog, there's supposed to be a scene with Trog to introduce us to him, where he fights an Arsinotherium. Yes, it sounds funny. Which were like a prehistoric rhino, like a rhino with two big horns at the front, side by side horns. And they were going to fight one of them, but they decided not to do it. Anywho, right. So they're going down the tunnel, and they see the tombs of the Aramaspai, I suppose. I don't know. And then she says, what's his face? Minoton stops rowing. She says, Minoton, stop! But she says, some magical force or mystical force is pulling us further down, the tunnel. I thought, well, maybe it's just the current. Could be that, rather than magic. But anyway, there you go. Yes, the last of the Aramaspai. Who can say? So they carry on. Anyway, they end up at where, there we go, some extraordinary force pulling us like a mighty magnet, or the current. Anyway, so they're getting there. Meanwhile, by the way, I forgot to mention as well, the Trog were reused, the model, the what they call the armature and whatever, the body, I suppose, were reused as Calibos in Clash of the Titans, which would be Ray Harryhausen's next and final film. So that would be reused. Obviously not the head, but the rest of it was. Right, so they found the gate, the weird gate with the face on. I don't know, does it kind of look... I'm getting all Eric Von Daniken here now and Ancient Aliens, but the face above the gate kind of reminds me of the stone heads of the Olmec stone heads, over in Mexico. Did they base them on them? Don't know. Anyway, they found it, the gate. Right, so there we go. But they can't get it open because it's too heavy. By the way, they've all got lots of green around them. Really bad composite in here, with lots of green around them. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's the glow from the the aurora that's making them look green. There you go. Look terrible. Anyway, so they need Trog to come and help them again. So here he comes, just Trog. He opens the gate for him, kind of a King Kong-like gate, isn't it? But different. So they can't do it, but Trog helps them, and they get it open. And there we go, see all the green around them. It's reflecting from the aurora, isn't it? So off they go. The Shrine of the Four Elements. It's a pyramid. So here we go. They've arrived at the entrance, the shortcut. So they get there first. So off they go through the tunnels. And I thought this bit here, this is obviously, stop motion there. You can tell because it's kind of jerky, isn't it? Stop motion. Why did they just use Peter Mayhew? in like dark scenes where they can hide that it's Peter Mayhew. All he's doing is walking down the corridor. Anyway, never mind. At least he got more to do in Star Wars, didn't he? The same year. I wonder which he filmed first. 'Cause they both filmed round about the same time as well, didn't they? 1975-ish. When principal photography were going. I don't. Which did he do first, this or Star Wars? I think he did this first, to be honest. Right. So anyway, they're finding their way to the shrine, and they're heading there as well. The face on Mars. I'm saying. Anyway, but here we go. There it is. But they're there first. Look, there we go. See, more glow from the aurora. Here comes Minoton. So they're still not there. They're still not arrived yet. They've taken the long way around. Right, Raffi runs all the way around the pyramid, and he can't find an entrance. So I don't know where Patrick Troughton's going to use his key that he's brought with him. Maybe it's hidden. Maybe it's like that keyhole in The Hobbit that you can only see in the last moon of the month of Durin, or whatever the hell it was. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. But they can't find an opening. There it goes. I can't. Look, it's shattered, this poor lad. I can't find an opening anywhere. So she said, so luckily she's got this other magic potion there that we've not seen before. So we must make an entrance. And luckily, she just picks this particular block here. And it's the exact right block that she needs, as you'll see. So, stay clear. So she calls on the power of the spirits of the underworld, etc. The optional incantation. And she throws the potion. There we go. All that. Spirits of the underworld. And then she does it on the other side. And then she says, Minoton! So he comes and starts pulling out the block. And they hear it. Oh, what's that? Was that an earthquake? And they say, no, it's obviously Zenobia's up to something. They've got there first. Anyway, Minoton's using his pike. I suppose it's called it's a pike, isn't it, I suppose, to get the block out. Anyway, here he is. I don't know how he's moving it a lot. There must be a lot of wiggle room, but he's... a lot of wiggle room there, isn't there? So he's pulling the block out, but then he falls because the blocks above they fall down and then push him out the way. And they go, poor Minoton. But luckily, she picked the right block, didn't she? Just where the doorway is, or the entrance, or whatever. Or are they all the way around it? You could have picked any block, and there'd be one of those behind it. Don't know. Maybe did she just know psychically? Did she use her psychic, magical, evil powers, and she knew it was behind this block? Yeah. So in they go. By the way, yes. Minoton is no more. He has done his work. And then Raffi's probably thinking, yeah, but I put bloody hours and months of work into building that. The world's first robot. Anyway. In the go. So, as you can see, by the way, there's lots of pictures and hieroglyphs that we're going to see later that kind of suggests that the Aramaspai, the Hyperboreans, whatever you want to call them, were Egyptians. Anyway, so they've arrived. They said, oh no, and Melanthius is kicking off, saying, oh, they've spoiled it, they've ruptured the temple, and it'll start losing its power, and it's all going wrong. They're looking at poor Minoton. He should still be alive. What they should have done here, he should have been struggling to get free, and then Trog should have come and freed him, and they could have made friends, and they could have fought at the end against what we're going to see coming up, but they don't. Right, so there we go. The atmosphere's destroyed. There we go. This key is useless, so he throws it away. Where were they going to use it anyway? I don't know, because there were no entrance that Raffi could find. Anywho, so in they go. Right, so there we go. We're inside now. We're in a studio in, I think this might be Malta. I think. I could be wrong. Um, but anyway, they're in a studio. So in they come. And then apparently, there we go, more Egyptian stuff, look. And apparently this beam here, apparently, is done with dental floss. Don't ask me how, I don't know, but that's what it says in the trivia. Done with dental floss. Or is it that up there that's dental floss? No, it isn't, that's steam, isn't it? So yeah, this was done with dental floss, but with light shining on it. Don't ask me how, I don't know. Anyway. So they said, it said Sinbad up, he says, go and, by the way, look at that. And Melanthe says, the guardian of the shrine. And he says, Sinbad, go and check the chains that are going to use that cage. Because remember he boiled, he boiled water and smashed a vial earlier on in his own experiment of Aramaspai technology. And this is millions of times more powerful. They're just going to shove the baboon in the cage. There we go, more like hieroglyphs and stuff and all that jazz. So they were obviously Egyptians, weren't they? Or maybe Egyptians were evolved from the Aramaspai. Who knows? Anyway, so he's got to go and check. Here comes Kasim. Trog picks up. Now he drops his thing and he picks up Minoton's pike. There's the. You can see it's a saber-toothed tiger from the title Eye of the Tiger. But it's supposed to be in ice. It looks like he's wrapped up in cellophane, doesn't it? It's in storage. But it's supposed to be ice. Anyway, there you go, the guardian of the shrine. So, right, so Sinbad, go and check them chains. So, the ice is melting. Because the shrine is desecrated, so they've got to hurry up before the power's gone. Right, so they've got to get Kasim in the cage and put him in the column of light, and hopefully everything will be okay. But before they could do that, there you go, they pop out. There's Zenobia and Raffi, and there we go. She tells Raffi to kill Melanthius. So they start fighting, but Kasim bites Raffi, and they tumble down the stairs. There we go. They go tumbling down the stairs. Where are we? There they go, tumbling down the stairs. And it obviously must have broken his neck or something, must Raffi. Kasim's fine, gets up and backs off sheepishly. He knows he has done something bad. Raffi's being... It's more the fall, though, that killed Raffi than actual Kasim. But anyway, he's dead. Raffi's dead. And she comes down, hobbling down with her one seagull foot. And then she's, you can see, he's not well. And so she screams, lots of screaming in this film, by the way. So she screams her head off. They go, ah! So they think, right, whatever, you're sad. We've got to get Kasim in the cage. So they do that. Off he goes. Get him in the cage. Pull him up into the column of light. There it goes. So he does an optional incantation now. Oh, great mystery, come to our mortal aid. He's supposed to be a scientist, but never mind. Then he says, lower him back down, and they bring him back out, and it's all smoking. And I'll be thinking, have we made a terrible mistake? Anyway, so they lower him back down. Is it going to show it? Here we go. Look, it's all smoking. And technically, I suppose it should be Kasim, because Kasim's there. He's turned back into Kasim. But he should be naked, shouldn't he? Technically. But he's not. He's got his clothes on. There we go. And he's fine. They should have had a thing where he's kind of got some slightly baboon qualities. He might start throwing shit at him or something. I don't know. But anyway, he's not. He's fine. He's the old Kasim. And here she goes running up the stairs. All lovely. And... So she decides now, the Zenobia, she's going to do an Emperor Ming and send her, I know that came after this, and send her essence into the, here we go, into the. There we go. A good old, that harkens back to Jason of the Argonauts, doesn't it? With what's her face. There we go. The essence goes into the tiger. They think everything's lovely and they're all sorted, but then they hear a roar. They've got to get out, by the way. The power's waning and the icicles are falling. But then the tiger's coming out. Here it is. Look. Arr, arr, arr. And I was surprised, actually, that Melanthius didn't say, "Oh, it's a Smilodon," or something like that, because he'd have no idea, would he? But, so they've got to deal with this now. This is the eye of the tiger part. So they've got to deal with Zenobia tiger. But luckily Trog arrives, and so they start fighting. And there we go, clawing and scratching at each other. And they try to sneak past. There we go. They go now. There we go. Move. But a couple of them get got. I think Hassan and Maroof get got. Have I missed it? Poor Trog's getting all bitten, blooded. Look, oh, and there we go. Oh, missed it, haven't I? I've missed it. Where are we? Oh, there we can see him there. So they must go back any minute now to help out Trog. Here we go. They're going to help Trog. Look, and poor Trog. They always have the goodie. They always have the good creature dying, don't they? In Ray Harryhausen films, the Griffin in Golden Voyage, the Styracosaurus in Valley of Guanji. It's always the monster that's on your side that gets killed. But anyway, so poor Trog's dead. So they've got to deal with that. Here, poor Maroof. What happened then? No, nothing. Poor Maroof gets got. He's killed instantly, apparently. And then poor Hassan gets knocked across the room. He's not dead. He's fine. Well, I don't know if he's fine, but he's not dead. And this bit here where the tiger walks away, and then poor Trog in his death throes just tumbles over. Then the tiger jumps on top of him. Poor thing. That's the genius of Ray Harryhausen, isn't it? He adds these little things, doesn't he? That any other animator just won't bother with stuff like that, would they? Anyway, look, he's being got as well as Sinbad. Anyway, picks up Minoton's pike, or it was Trog's afterwards, I suppose. So they're facing off. He goes up the stairs, and then it's following up the stairs on some slightly different coloured stairs. Never mind, it doesn't matter. And it jumps just as he picks up the pike, and it impales itself. There we go, onto the on the pike, and it's roaring in pain and going arr, arr, like that. And then he picks up his cutlass, sabre, whatever they're called, and stabs it through the heart. That's the end of the eye of the. That's the end of the eye of the tiger, and Zenobia as well, because remember her spirit was in there. Anyway, so he legs it. He gets Hassan. There we go, and he says Maroof is dead. So they just leave him. So they get out. They've got to, because it's all collapsing. And as I was watching it, I was thinking, so if this temple, this shrine, is found thousands of years later by archaeologists, they'll see the skeleton or whatever of the Smilodon, and then the skeleton of Maroof, and they'll be thinking, this man fought a deadly battle with this Smilodon, but managed to kill it, before succumbing to his own wounds. What a hero! So, Maroof will get all the praise in the eons to come. Anyway, so they run out, and big holes appeared in the shrine, and the snow's coming in because it's all. The valley's going to be covered in snow, isn't it, very shortly. The power is gone. Notice the roar is not there anymore. So the once green valley is going to just become snowy, and all the creatures that live there, they'll be gone as well. Because they were going to do a woolly mammoth as well that they didn't get round to. I think Ray Harryhausen said it was kind of rushed. This film, the effects on this film that were kind of rushed. So that might be why some of them are not as good as in his other films. I think it's probably I won't call it the worst of the Ray Harryhausen films, or the least of them. It's the least of the Sinbad films. I say, what is it? 3 Worlds of Gulliver. That's rubbish. But it's not the best of the Sinbad films. Anyway, they've obviously got back to I forgot to call it, Sharak, before the 7th moon, or whatever it was, 6th moon, 7th moon, whatever. They obviously got back there before that time, because the moon's there, and they're sticking the crown on Qasim. So he's now Caliph, and he's got great teeth on him, didn't he? Let's go back again. This fella, he's got a great set of gnashes on him, hasn't he? It says me. And they're all happy, look. And there we go. Over the end credits, we're seeing everybody happy, and everybody's lovely. And then it focuses on the coals as the final credits go up. And then, in a minute, there we go. Didn't the eyes of the tiger return at the very end? Because does that mean Zenobia's spirit is still around? Or did they just want to end it on cat's eyes? I don't know. And that's the end of the film, so there we go. Oh, pressed the wrong button again. There we go. Anyways, that's the end of the film. Oh, we'll start again. I love this film. As I said, I think it was the first... We'll get rid of it. There we go. I think it was the first of the Sinbad films. Well, I think the only Sinbad film I saw at the cinema. And I do love it. It has its flaws. The effects are not Ray Harryhausen's best, although there are some great sequences in it. The saber-toothed tiger's cool. The walrus is a bit iffy. But Minoton, I love Minoton. I love Trog. And the imps at the beginning, I really like that scene. That's probably my favourite scene in the film, to be honest, the imps at the beginning. But yeah, it's a fun film. It's a bit too long, to be honest. Like I say, it's nearly 2 hours, an hour and 53 minutes, something like that. That's a bit too long, really, for a Sinbad film. They could have knocked, 20 minutes off. Because some parts of it do drag a little bit. But anyway, but never mind. It's a wonderful family film. Apart from the mentioning eunuchs and and slitting throats. Pardon me. Anyway, so there we go. So that's it. That's the end of Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. I know which one I'm going to do, which Ray Harryhausen film I'm doing next, but I'm not going to tell you. I was going to say it's got a dinosaur in it. So, he's done a few with dinosaurs, hasn't he? At least 2. So, make up your own mind what I'm going to do next. Not the next Magnificent Mondays, the next one based on Ray Harryhausen. Right, so we will leave it there. We're all done and dusted for Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. As I said, his next film would be Clash of the Titans. That would be his last one before retiring. And leaving us with an amazing legacy of, I think, 12 films he did. Was it 12 in all? Or was it just 12 with Charles Schneer? I can't remember. But, Ray Harryhausen left an amazing legacy, inspired, hundreds of filmmakers to work in effects and in Hollywood and stuff like that. And writers as well. I suppose writers were inspired by watching Ray Harryhausen films. I know I was, not that I've put it into effect, but never mind. Right, so we'll leave it there. So what's coming up next? I can't remember. What do we next? I've got it down here somewhere. Oh, yes, the next Magnificent Mondays is going to be Galaxy Quest. Yay! So that'll be next week. And so there we go. Right, so thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll see you.